I have adult clients who have experienced childhood trauma. I'm trying to decide which therapy to get further training in to help them. Currently, I use cognitive processing therapy. I have heard that EMDR is effective, but it doesn't quite resonate with me. However, I'm open to it if it's effective. So I'm not exactly sure what the real question is here, but as we kind of move through this, what I want to kind of allude to is the idea that if you look at most of the evidence-based models of treatment, what you're looking at is models that were developed to work with a relatively single trauma. And if you're dealing with people that have early childhood trauma, we're not working with a single instance trauma. So things like EMDR really are designed for the single event. A lot of the CBT, a lot of the DBT. DBT does a better job of the complexity, but a lot of those are assuming that there is a seminal trauma that has occurred, and that's what you're going to work through. The problem with early developmental trauma is that it sidetracks the whole developmental process, and it impacts the physiology and the neurophysiology and the building of neural pathways. And so it's a little bit more complex to deal with. And there are good models for that. And I would recommend that if you want to know more about working with complex trauma, which is what a lot of adults have that were traumatized as children, is you read the Blue Knot organization out of Australia, a wonderful organization that does tremendous amounts of research and really understands how to treat complex trauma. They just recently, actually last summer, they put out a 280-page guide for working with complex trauma. And it is very thorough, it's very up-to-date science-wise, it does a really good job of laying out the process. However, one of the challenges is that so many people in the mental health world are used to thinking in terms of models of treatment. And when you have complex trauma, you have to step away from the model of treatment and think about the treatment process. Because the model of therapy that you use is only a small portion of the overall process. So if you have a process that is this big from beginning to end, how much of this would actually be the model of treatment? This is the process of treatment, but maybe the model of treatment is only this much. And that's kind of problematic if this is what you're always looking to do, because this is being ignored. So you want to make sure that if you're dealing, the more complexity there is, the more you need to focus on the process of delivering the service, which includes building a good, solid therapeutic alliance with them to be able to build a good understanding of what the process should look like. It also should be a good orientation to what's going on in the body. It should be a real focus on the development of self-regulation, self-management of the client before we move into the application of a model of treatment. So EMDR is an excellent model of treatment. If you're dealing with a single event, and that's what, a car accident, death, a gruesome death, a violent crime, and there's no other traumas in their history, EMDR is very effective, it's very fast. There's ART, which is the accelerated resolution therapy, which is also very good and very fast, or progressive counting, which is very good and very fast. It was by Ricky Greenwald. These are really good. They're designed to really work through those single events. If you're dealing with somebody that had early, kind of repetitive, traumatic experiences, adversity, toxic stress while they were developing, then you're not dealing with a single event. There may be some pretty significant events in their history, but you're not dealing with a single event. And so a lot of the therapeutic approaches are really not designed to work with that. So again, you have to pay more attention to the process of therapy and exactly what it is that you know where you're going to put your model in. But if you get them well regulated, what we've discovered is a well regulated client will benefit from just about any model that you use. And so that's really comforting, because if we've laid the groundwork well, they can prosper regardless of the model that we use.